Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen. We're doing our 2024 LSU versus Nicholls football the Nicholls Colonels preview. They're going to Death Valley and Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. LSU coming off a loss against USC. Without further ado, introduce everybody to Jalen. How you doing today, Jalen?
Hey, I'm doing well, Chief. I'm doing well. LSU football, not so well. So far.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning of the year, though.
Yeah. So, what was something that went wrong, you think, here with LSU and that game against USC? We're going to talk about them a little bit here because I think it's very important to look at that here before we start doing a preview for the Nicholls game too much here. John Emery, towards other ACL and his other knee, a loss of the running back position. What do you think is going to happen about that this next game against Nicholls and how impactful he was against USC?
Yeah, so I think, of course, going from a team like UFC to a team like Nicholls is two totally different caliber teams. But at the same time, losing John Emery was a big thing for the Tigers. He's a big hole that you have to try to fill. There at this point, it's kind of going to be running back by committee. Now I know Josh Williams got some carries, Caleb Jackson got some carries, but I know even though John Emery only had one more carry than Josh Williams, he was impactful. He had over 60 yards rushing. And I think when you go from a guy, Garrett Nussmeier, who's starting his first year as a Tiger quarterback, and he's not like Jaden Daniels, who Jaden Daniels led the Tigers in rushing ever since he was starting at LSU. So the run game was the run game for the most part. But now Garrett Nussmeier is a typical passer, whereas John Emery was going to complement him in the run game. But there's no John Emery anymore, the best back on the team. So I think the pressure now is really put on Garrett Nussmeier to perform. I mean, yeah, it's going to be running back by committee, but at the same time, yeah, he had John Emery back there to try to help him out, and I just think the pressure now is getting added more to Garrett Nussmeier, and I think going against a team like Nicholls would be a great matchup to see exactly how Nussmeier is going to play, how this entire offense is going to be without having that premier rushing attack.
So I do think what cost LSU against USC was, I mean, when you get in the red zone, you got to score points, right? Not field goals don't cut it. I mean, if you could split when you get in the red zone, if you get in the red zone 10 times in a game, you score touchdowns on 5 of those, you'll more than likely win the game because more likely you're going to be in the red zone 10 times a game. You're going to probably end up winning it. But if you scored field goals every single time, you only got 30-something points. Now, if you did it 5 times with touchdowns, that's 35. Right there, it shows you how crucial it is to score touchdowns. Basic math, that's the way it is there. But LSU to go all those times in the red zone and only come away with 3 points there is really defeating for them here. I think it was 5 times to win the red zone and only got field goals every single time they went down there. That's why they basically lost the game. Inefficiency of the play calling in the red zone is what I think hurt the Tigers there. People were calling for the defense. I saw some Facebook comments, defense played bad on their regard, but I don't think the defense played bad for LSU. I think now you got like some, Sage Ryan didn't play that well. Major Burns didn't play well in the secondary there, but I do think for the most part, LSU's defense looked better than it did against Florida State last year and the year before that. I think they're a little bit better than the last 2 years from what I saw against USC. Not taking anything away from USC played a very good game. They had their Moss was a very good quarterback for them, and he was able to throw it around the field and be able to, great catch. USC's receivers made some spectacular catches in that game there. So it'd be unfair for the defense to say they had a bad game whenever you're out there making some spectacular grabs. And I think LSU's defense did play well in that game, well enough to win. Now, that is something you got to look at here. I think they did play well enough to win the game. And that's something we're going to have to look at as we go deeper into the year because if you look at it there, I thought LSU's defensive front did get some pressure on Moss, and they were able to get some sacks on him. So it wasn't like they were on islands all by themselves there. So that is something that we're going to look at when we get down into the more tougher part of the schedule. Whenever you're going against the Oklahomas, the Alabamas of the world, so that to open up with a strong opponent like that is really tough here. I do think LSU would benefit from scheduling a G5 opponent to maybe a tune-up game as well there. But whenever you're trying to play against top 25 teams right out of the gate, apparently it hasn't helped LSU that much in the last 3 years, especially with Brian Kelly and them. But I do appreciate they're not afraid to stick their necks out and actually go play these top 25 opponents, unlike some other Power Five schools in the country there. So that is something we got to look at here. But I do think that would be a benefit to them for sure here. Tune-up games are really good here because NFL gets a preseason. That's something that LSU would probably benefit doing if they played against them, like a really, give money to a team to go in there. But LSU, I think that Troy game from 2017 still kind of haunts them. That's why they go play against these bigger marquee matchups there. So I think that's kind of part of the reasoning. If you lose upset it like that,
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, too, Chief. When you when you
so
when you think about it, too, I agree with you. I think Nicholls is, of course, there. Nicholls is coming over there. You know, he might get a little check on the side, but you know how that goes with with smaller school teams. But at the same time, I think also to that Troy game speaks numbers. Even though it was so many years ago, because nobody expected Troy to beat the Tigers, and yet they did. So LSU might be still thinking about that. What I'm thinking about right now is what Brad Kelly's 0-3 in season openers as head coach, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, as
that
a,
that
yeah.
right that yeah. So that right there is just like come on, like they could at least get one of these get one of those games. And I thought they were going to win this game right here against USC the way they were playing throughout the game. I agree with you too, Chief. I wouldn't say the defense played play awful as a lot of people and a lot of fans are saying. Now I would say the secondary kind of had some miscues throughout the game, especially at the end. When USC scored that last touchdown, it's like it looked like kind of the defensive backs were kind of figuring out who was going to get who. But I think overall, you could say this is a kind of not a new Tigers team, but some players are getting more plans. Like you said, Garrett Nussmeier, we talked about quarterback, he's new. There's no more John Emery. Kyron Lacey, great game, stepped up. I think he's your number one wide receiver this year after losing a Brian Tyler, after losing a Malik Neighbors. I think he's the top guy this year. He showed it in the game as USC. He's going to be a big weapon. Aaron Anderson has a lot of speed. He's going to be a big weapon. Mason Taylor is still there. So this Tigers team, and then on defense, Harold Perkins is leading the way. I think these
Sorry, we had a little
Tigers
bit of
team.
technical difficulties there. Jalen, are you there with me?
Yep, I'm still there with you.
Okay,
I was
so yeah.
saying no with the, yeah, but this Tigers team, I think offensively they have the playmakers, defensively they have the talent. So you mix both of those together, it could turn out to be a great team that's going to get wins this season. They just have to put it all together.
Yeah, I think if LSU can, adjust to their running game and get that going there, and like I was saying before, I don't think the defense cost them that game. I think the inefficient red zone offense is something that Joe Sloan needs to look at for LSU and figure out how he's going to do this here. You don't have the running ability of Jaden Daniels there because a couple of those plays, Jaden Daniels in the game at quarterback, they're touchdowns. There are at least two or three touchdowns that LSU probably could have scored with Jaden Daniels' legs against you. Mobile. Garrett Nussey is not a mobile quarterback. He's a pocket passer, and he can move a little bit, but I thought Garrett Nussmeier played a great game. For a quarterback, he played very well in his first official start. I mean, well, second official start technically if you count the bowl game, but still, his this is his season to lead his team, and I thought he played well enough to win the game. Now, the inefficiency in the red zone here, I thought the play calling was kind of bland for LSU. That's why I think I put the cause mostly of that right then and there. So I mean, you can't really. I don't think you can really blame the defense too much there. But yeah, looking ahead for Nicholls here, Nicholls themselves here. We're gonna start looking at them. They maybe 25-17. They came close to beating them though. So I mean, look, that is something to be said there. This isn't going to be like as much of a cakewalk as a lot of people think it might actually be here because They gave up 277 yards passing against Louisiana Tech and gave 109 yards rushing. Offensively, they only got 62 yards on the ground and 138 passing. So they do have to get a little bit better at running the ball and is more effectively passing it for sure. But they still scored 17 points against Louisiana Tech on the road. So I mean, hey, this is something that they're gonna have to look at here, and it's gonna be something here. Jeff Landry, Louisiana's governor, wants to have Mike the Tiger back at LSU games here. What you think about that, Jalen?
I think that's going to be a very interesting, Chief. Um, I mean, I see where he's going with it. I mean, I did not think I did see something where the veterinarian was kind of against it for health reasons, but I mean, outside of that, I think it would be nice to have Mike the Tiger. I mean, just to show, hey, Tiger Nation, like, hey, we're here, Mike's here, like, hey, this is something that we haven't had in a while, and now it's time to bring him back.
With John Emery being out with that ACL tear, I mean, like he can do some good things with taking on a leadership role in that all and on the sidelines, maybe go in the film room and say, hey, this is how you should probably carry the ball or something like that. Just give little tips to these younger players here. Do you think John Emery plays another down at as a running back at LSU, Jalen?
Honestly, I think he does. I know in the past he's dealt with injury history, but I think he does play another down for the Tigers. I think he's going to come back stronger from this one. I know ACL is big. ACL is one of the worst injuries you could have in any college sport. But I think he plays another down at LSU. I think he has something to prove, and everybody knows that he was going to do big things this year. I mean, you saw it in that one game against USC. So it's unfortunate that he tore his ACL, but I think he plays another down as a Tiger.
I do think that another thing, like when it comes to like the play calling of that USC game here and how John Emery was impactful whenever he was in the game running the ball for LSU. Let's talk about Kyron Lacy. Um, he started off the game hot. He was catching everything thrown his way, basically. He was targeted a lot in the first half. Then we got to the second half of the game. He wasn't featured as much, if I had seen him on the field that much at all. I didn't see any injury reports that said he was injured or anything like that. Do you think the touchdown celebration, they maybe benched him because they thought he was too jacked up for the game, like juiced, ready to go, Jalen?
Well, see, I hope that didn't go in Brian Kelly's head and say, hey, he's not going to play much for the rest of the game because of that. Because, like I said, he proved in the first half of the game, he was your best receiver. Now, I know, like, receivers like Chris Hilton was out, so I know, like, but as of that game against USC, Kyron Lacy was no more receiver. He was the number one target. So to bench him because of a celebration, which, to be honest with you, Chief, we've seen worse celebrations in college sports outside of football that didn't even get flagged or nobody got benched for it. So that if that was a reason to it, I would have to put the blame on Brian Kelly because that could have impacted the rest of the game. But honestly, I don't think they had anything to really do with it. I like to celebrate. I mean, celebrate. He made a big play. You saw the catch. So
Yeah,
it was a great pass too. So
yeah. I'm thinking that I don't know how I really like it if that decision really did make an impact in that there because it's kind of tough though. Um, I mean, would I wish he had chose a different celebration? Like maybe do a dance or something instead of doing the gun blazing kind of thing there. But USC couldn't cover the guy. I mean, he was all over the field. They could not cover him in that first half of football. And I like I said, I don't think I really saw. I noticed a lot of people online chatting about it here, so I went back and kind of watched the game a little bit in the second half, and I didn't see him again. So I was like, maybe I missed him or something, but it don't look like they really played him that much on the field there, like the downs that he played there. So I'm thinking that if you look at it from that perspective there, I do expect to see Kyron Lacy out there in this second game against Nicholls here. I do think LSU does beat Nicholls here. I don't think it'll be close. Um, Nicholls were to beat them. So I say LSU 49, Nicholls 14. What you got, Jalen?
now, I don't. I mean, LSU's offense, I think, will even play a lot better than they did against USC. I'm going to go with. I think it's going to be closer than people expect, but I'm going to go LSU 38, Nichols 21. I'm not, and when I say that, I'm not trying to mess around and say, oh, the defense is not going to play well. But no, they're still going to play well. I just think overall, it's hard to stop teams from getting points. And I think especially since Nicholls lost last week against Louisiana Tech, they're going into Death Valley like, hey, like we have nothing to lose. We're going against this SEC powerhouse, so they're going to try to come out there and score some touchdowns. So that's just how I see it. But at the same time, too, Chief. I mean, LSU's defense could go and shut out this Nicholls team. So we just don't know. You just have to honestly just wait and see. I would love to see that though. I would love for the defense to prove haters wrong because they talked about LSU's defense in that game against USC, and I don't think the defense was the reason they lost.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end. So if I do, they you do lose.
Oh no, it's all good, Chief. Technical issues are always gonna be a part of it, but you know, you're still here with us. You're still here with us, Chief. But also too, play calling too, Chief. Chief, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of difficulties over here. So, did you hear doing top 25 game picks? Number three Texas versus number 10 Michigan. Who you got?
Oh, that's going to be a great game. Is it sad? I want to see Arch play, even though I think he's not only going to play in a blowout, but that's okay. So I'm gonna still go with Texas. I'm gonna go with Texas on this one.
I got Texas winning this one as well. I think they'll take care of business here. Bowling Green versus number 8 Penn State. I got Penn State winning this one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yep, I got Penn State winning this one too. I think against Bowling Green, it should be an easy game for Penn State, get an easy win. So I think I'm gonna go with the new Penn State.
Arkansas versus number 16 Oklahoma State. I got an upset in this one. I got Arkansas upsetting number 16 Oklahoma State. Who you got, Jalen?
Well, Chief, I guess we're on the same wavelength tonight so far. I'm going to go with Arkansas. Also, I think Oklahoma State they are ranked number 16 in the nation right now, but I think they're going to take their first loss and are going to lose to the Hogs.
The Hogs. Number 17 Kansas State versus Tulane. Ooh, this one I'm kind of interested in here. Tulane looked really good week one here. Give me Kansas State though. I think they'll do enough to pull it off. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kansas State also. I think Tulane though start off the year great so far. It's they're having a great run. They will go against a familiar team soon, but we'll save that for another time, Chief, because you know what I'm talking about. But in this case, I'm
Very
gonna
fun one for
yeah, I'm gonna
sure.
go with Kansas State on this one.
Number 23 Georgia Tech taking on Syracuse. Georgia Tech is 2-0, and they finally in the rankings here. I think the spread 3 points. I think Georgia Tech's gonna cover that. I got Georgia Tech winning that one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I got Georgia Tech winning this one also. I mean, they shocked the world by beating Florida State, who's now 0-2, by the way. But Georgia Tech, they're hot right now. Their defense is playing great. I'm gonna go with Georgia Tech.
Tennessee Tech taking on number one Georgia. Give me what's that rolling down the track? Them Bulldogs, basically. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, just go ahead and give me Georgia in this one. I mean, they steamrolled Clemson last week, and it was crazy. The first half was so close. When you got the second half, they just Carson Beck turned it up a notch, and they just literally destroyed the Tigers. So I'm gonna go with Georgia on this one.
That's when that depth starts to show up for sure in the second half. Northern Illinois versus number 5 Notre Dame. I got the Fighting Irish. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Notre Dame in this one. They played a great game against Texas A&M, but in this one, Notre Dame is gonna pick up the win.
Baylor taking on number 11 Utah. Give me Utah. Who you got, Jalen?
You know, this is a tough one, and we're talking LSU former defensive coordinator Dave Aranda still with the Bears. But who
He's
do
kind
I
of on the
want
hot
to?
seat though.
Yeah, he definitely's on the hot seat.
Yeah,
He's definitely, and he definitely
yeah.
needs this win. But I think I'm gonna go with Utah on this one.
Iowa State taking on number 21 Iowa. Man, this one's close rivalry game. Iowa's offense scares me a little bit here. Give me the Hawkeyes though. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, it is a tough one, and this is a rivalry that I know people in Iowa are mark this on my calendars every single year. But I'm gonna go with the Hawkeyes also. It's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be a close one.
Jacksonville State taking on number 22 Louisville. I think Louisville runs away with this one. Who you got, Jalen?
I don't think this one's gonna be close. I think it was Coastal who just beat Jacksonville State, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
huh?
it was.
So
It was.
so yeah, I'm gonna go with Louisville on this one.
Middle Tennessee State taking on number 6 Ole Miss. I have the Rebels of Ole Miss winning it. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm going with the Rebels on this one. They're gonna pick up another win.
Florida A&M taking on number 12 Miami. Miami looked good against Florida. They got a good quarterback. Give me to you. Who you got, Jalen?
Man, Miami just blew Florida out the gate. Cam Ward, he looked
Cam Ward,
fantastic
man.
he looked fantastic at quarterback. So I'm going to go with Miami on this one.
South Florida versus number 4 Alabama. I mean, some of these I'm kind of like, well, it's week one, very small sample size, of course, but I got Alabama beating South Florida. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, Crimson Tide. I'm going with that. Jalen Milroe. He's out to prove something this year. I'm telling you, he's out to prove something. That watch out for this Bama team, but I'm gonna give them the win in this one.
Especially with all the naysayers in the offseason with Alabama. Buffalo versus number 9 Missouri. I have Mizzou winning this one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mizzou on this one. Now, I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but the receiver, Luther from Missouri, he's tough. He's tough. I'm gonna say that. They better
Yeah.
watch out too in the SEC.
Number 19 Kansas taking on Illinois. Kansas only coming in at 4.5-point favorites here. Favorites. This is, I kind of agree with Vegas. Over the total of 57 points. Ooh, that's kind of an interesting total right there. I think Illinois covers this though. I think it's a field goal game, but I got Illinois winning. I'm gonna go pull an upset. Who you got, Jalen?
Man, this one's tough also. Because it's really one of these games where it could be either one of these teams getting the win. But I think I'm gonna go with you too. I think Illinois will take the win. But this is going to be the closest game out of all these matchups that we talked about so far.
Yeah, I can see that. Western Michigan versus number 2 Ohio State. I got Ohio State winning this one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm going with Ohio State. Their offense is just so powerful. I know it was only week one, but that offense is the number one receiver in the country. Jeremiah, that catch, I can't,
Yeah.
G. I can't.
The Duke Mayo Classic. Number 14 Tennessee taking on number 24 North Carolina State. Tennessee favored by 10, but this Tennessee team's dangerous. I think they can make a good run this year for the playoff. That's how I feel about them this year. They're going Volunteers of Tennessee. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tennessee also. Especially, I think they're one of the sleeper teams also in the SEC East. The Volunteers. It seems like every year though they always have a great team.
Okay, I guess I'm back then. All right. Houston versus number 15 Oklahoma. We already picked LSU, so that one's good. I got Oklahoma winning. Who you got, Jalen?
Yep, I'm gonna go to Oklahoma also. Hey, I'm gonna say that to them, welcome to the SEC. So I can't wait to see them play some SEC competition.
App State versus number 25 Clemson. Look, you know what? This is the biggest spread that I've seen that a team that's going to get upset because App State's going to beat Clemson. Who you got, Jalen?
Right, I'm right
16
there.
and a
I'm right
half.
there with you, Chief. Clemson got embarrassed by Georgia last week, and guess what? App State is going to beat them also. They're going to be 0-2 to start the year.
Oh man, Boise
I like
State.
Dabo. I like Dabo.
But I like Dabo too, man. I think he's behind the times. I think the times have passed him by. I mean, because because that game against Georgia in the second half, there's definitely levels to it. Now, granted, it is Georgia, and that's a monster itself that Kirby Smart has built there in Athens, but there's something different about this Clemson team for sure than it is in years past. Boise State taking on number 7 Oregon. I have Oregon winning that one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yes, I'm gonna go with Oregon. Also, I'm gonna go with the Ducks.
Okay. Northern Arizona versus number 20 Arizona. I got Arizona winning that one. Who you got, Jalen?
No, I got Arizona winning that one. Also, they are good. I forgot who they played in the first week, but their receiver that 3 touchdowns over all those yards. I was like, oh my god! Like watching that. Those are the highlights. Yeah,
McMillan, man. McMillan had 10
yeah,
catches for
McMillan.
304 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game.
Four touchdowns. I'm sorry. Let me give him his
Yeah.
credit. 4
Put some
touchdowns. Oh,
respect on his name, Jalen. Come
yeah.
on now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me put some respect on his name. 4 touchdowns because he went crazy in that game.
Utah State versus number 13 USC. I got USC winning that one. They played really well in week 1. I got to give USC some credit there for sure. They looked a lot better for sure than they on defense for sure. Who you got, Jalen?
I'm not gonna be salty because they beat LSU week 1. But guess what? I'm gonna go with USC, the Trojans on this one. They're gonna get the win.
Yep, and that'll be all our top 25 games there. So we both picked LSU to win it. They should win this game here. If they would lose the Nicholls, oof, Brian Kelly might want to get a security personnel out of Baton Rouge or something.
Oh, it's not gonna be good. I can tell you that.
But I don't think they will. They got LSU's got stuff to work on for sure. But I don't like. I thought the defense was too heavily criticized. They only gave it 27 points basically against USC. I mean, in this day and age in college football, 27 points, you could definitely win a game with it for sure. With the way it favors the offense for sure. Defenses had to change the way they tackle and stuff over the last recent years with targeting and other stuff there. So, look, that's just the way it is. So, Jalen, anything you want to say before we get off the air here?
I just want to say that everybody keep tuning in to the college football season. It was only week 1. Week 2 is going to be even better going forward. And hey, they might have lost the first game, but it still go Tigers. They're going to keep winning and winning and winning, and let's see how far this team can go.
Yeah, like I said, this is kind of like we looked at the floor and stuff. Like the season preview stuff is always hard to predict here because we don't know what we're going to get when we get out there on the field. It's kind of like we're shooting this stuff blind. Hopefully, it does come out a little bit better here that we just kind of awful it with like 1 or 2 games. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. 2 or 3 games that we're kind of off by, so it wouldn't be too bad. But thank y'all for tuning in here to the Fishbowl Radio. We're gonna see y'all here next time here when we do our Louisiana Raging Cajun preview. Maybe not. They got a bye week coming up next week. Then they got Tulane. So we'll see how that goes there. We'll keep y'all up to date here. We'll do a push if we're going to go live at 8 o'clock or not, or 7 or 8, whatever time we decide to do it. So we enjoy doing this. Thank y'all for all y'all support here and all y'all. The support. I mean, we've had people stop us out in the middle of the street and say hi to us and stuff, hug us and stuff. So. We are loved. We feel the love. Thank y'all for everything y'all do for us because y'all give us a better life for sure. So thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you have a great, wonderful day. We'll see y'all here next time on the Fishbowl Radio. Have a good night.